The South Rift leaders, led by Bomet Governor Hilary Barchok, his Kericho counterpart Eric Mutai, and Narok Patrick Olentutu, which also are part of the North Rift, the South Rift, have been meeting William Ruto, and just in the month of December, they've met William Ruto twice, with the last meeting was held on 27th of December in State House with a raft of demands. Welcome to the Bold Analysis, and my name is Kevin Odwar. In this video, I want us to look at the demands by these members of South Rift, and by extension, how Rigathi Gachagua's mantra in government on Kikuyu stake is already causing rumble within Kenya Kwanza. Ladies and gentlemen, I analyzed that if you look at the challenges that William Ruto have been having, is number one, to balance between political appointments of other people that were at the campaign trail, and also to have a sense of feeling from the larger Rift Valley that one of their son is in power. I'm not afraid to say it's a very selfish dilemma. But all this, it's not shocking, because we've been all in this country and we've all been making the political observations that people have been pushing for a boyhood mentality, that this is ours and it is our time to eat. So, according to the report that I've gathered, the meeting that was held on 27th, that was yesterday, in State House, these members of the South Rift, no, there is North Rift and there is South Rift. So the North Rift, I think, is the Wasingishu, Nandi, then Elgeyo Marakwet and the West Pokot side in the Baringo. But then the South Rift is where the KIPSIGIS team are. If you look at appointments, in the previous government, CS Charles Keter was KIPSIGIS, and that was by Uhuru Kenyatta. In William Ruto's appointment, Florence Bore, who is in charge of labor, was a former women rep of Kericho, so she's also the face of KIPSIGIS in that government. And the good man in State House, Felix Kosgei, is the only Nandi guy, powerful guy, there. If you look at Kipchumba is from Elgeyo Marakwet. I also understand that Chirchir, I don't know where he's coming from, but he's also around that area. So guys, the governors put up a demand that Bomet, there is land in Bomet that has already been hived off for William Ruto to build them a referral hospital. And that referral hospital, according to them, is supposed to decongest the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital that is in the sidelines of Eldoret. What's your take? For guys in the Rift, we'll also look at that. That's one of the demands. Number two, there are some bitumen roads that were supposed to be, there were some roads that were supposed to be upgraded to bitumen standards by former President Uhuru Kenyatta. And they are saying, I think that was the Kapsawar ones, mostly of Kericho, areas of Kericho, and that of, and those in Bomet. And since they stalled, they are also demanding that those projects be restarted. The other one is, there is a piece of land, there is a dam project, I've forgotten the name, and that dam project is supposed to eat part of Mau Forest. And it had stalled. The Kenya Forest Service had had some reservations, or rather environmental assessment report on the same, and they said that it was not in order to destroy the forest because of creating, or rather building, that dam. They are demanding that. Aurora and Kimwarer are also part of that, and they're also part of that discussion on what William Ruto is booting. I also understand that the leaders are putting William Ruto to task, that he needs to balance between the North Rift and South Rift in terms of government appointments. This is a discussion, or rather, this is something that it's just been a ticking time bomb. We've just been waiting. When will they start talking? Because it was actually preempted. If you've been keen, since William Ruto was sworn in, he was also in Kericho, and he announced plans to expand Kericho town. I'll tell you why. Announced plans to expand Kericho town, and that was the last tour he had in Kericho. So his organizers and other handlers are also planning for him to make another tour in Bomet County early January. And remember, he had gone to Baringo. That's the place he was before Christmas. He has gone to Kericho. I don't think he has gone to Nandi or Wasingishu, not even Elgeyo Marakwet. But he's been trying to solve the KIPSIGIS stalemate. So bad that while some push, and I want to support, I stayed in Narok. Guys, I stayed in Narok for 4 years that I was in college, and that I was in the University of Masai Mara University. And one thing I do appreciate and I do acknowledge is the fact that in terms of health services in the Rift, there is a big problem. There is a big problem because ukiwa Narok, by the way, and I'm not saying that the district hospital, there is only one hospital in Narok, and that area, Longisa, Bomet, Sotik, that area, no. In terms of health, it's more of private providers. In fact, private providers are more better. I don't want to divulge exclusive stories that I once did around that area. But I understand that issues of health is a big thing in the area, Narok, Bomet. I'm not sure about Kericho, but Narok, Bomet is a big issue. So a hospital intervention is a good intervention. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly subscribe to our channel. I should not forget to remind you. And also click the notification bell. For those who are watching us for the first time, I want to say thank you very much for supporting us. We're still at home. That's why you will see we have a green background, not the usual, the bold that we are used to. And the work must continue. For those who have been here, you realize that Oscar Sudi, after William Ruto was sworn in, has been silent and has not been talking. I saw a newspaper reporting that Oscar Sudi was saying that he felt like he was being bribed, or rather he was shortchanged by William Ruto, and so he was a bit uncomfortable. So there have been a very selfish scramble for appointments in William Ruto's government. And I will not beat around the bush. When Rigathi Gachagua goes to an event, walking with his friends and ordering ministers to employ his villagers, the people in his village, the cameras are seeing that. We, the analysts, we are also applauding, or rather we are also magnifying those messages. And so I've always asked, and what I was asking is this: if he does that and he's a deputy president and he goes to the mountain and says all manner of words that, look here, hii serikali lazima tupewe. In fact, he was somewhere saying next you hear we've appointed Njoroge, Kamau, and this and that. When you hear him going to do that, ask yourself, the leaders from Rift Valley, what do they think? Don't you think we have created a culture of it is us versus us? That unless my person is there, and the way he went to that area and started, it seemed like coercing the president that, look here, we must be given these jobs because we voted for you. So if you say that, what will the people in Rift Valley do? And that's what I'm saying. This scramble, it has been brought by the reckless statements and miscalculated speeches by Rigathi Gachagua in Mount Kenya. That's what we have to say, and we have to say it the way it is. He's been the man that has created this. And so today is Rift Valley meeting the president saying that. Who is going to talk on behalf of my small village in Siaya County? Or who is going to speak on behalf of Mijikenda? Because not all of us can access the president. Should it be about what I voted? And we analyzed from the word go that the dangerous scheme of donating jobs inversely proportional to the number of votes was a wrong way. Because on that, we are not going to do mainstreaming of development. What is happening is here is this. The Rift Valley MPs and governors, but then also the members of parliament, we might look at them as selfish, but better them, they have access to the president. How about us in the other side, about the people in my place here in Siaya, in Kisumu, the people in Busia, in Bungoma, in Kakamega, who cannot access president? So are we going to, all of us, are we going to be meeting delegation in State House, then putting demands to the president? And if Ruto will be serving political demands, then when is that part of the plan? Is he going to divert from the plan? Because it is well and it is in order to expand Kericho town. The dam is there. There's no problem. There is a project of 100 dams to be built, and in the next 5 years, that is something that William Ruto have said as part of intervention on food security. And so, the dam that is supposed to be built in, I think in Bomet, that is being hyped up from, that land is being hyped up from Mau Forest, it's not something new. It could be part of it. But if you seem to be pushing what is the precedence we are setting? And I want to say this. You know what is bringing, the other thing that is bringing this push and pull is, I analyzed to you that there were 437 projects that were going to be stopped. This was after the advisory from Treasury. Reason being, they are not well funded, or our debt servicing limit is low. We need to serve our debts and we don't have the money, or rather we are broke on development side. We've never had broke. We are never broke in paying salaries. So because we fear people can always protest if you don't pay them salaries, maybe. So this Mount Kenya MPs or this Rift Valley MPs are pushing because they've already known kwamba pesa hakuna. So we are going to do rationalization of the projects. And these projects now, they're those who are going to be done. And so they made the way of making a decision on which project is going to be done and which one is going to be stalled is on, are you sitting in harmony with the president? So if you're sitting in harmony with the president, then a project in your area might continue. But if you're on the other side, your project might not continue. So this is one of the challenge that is coming here, because people think sababu sisi hatuna itabidi tujipange. When, for how long are we going to serve people because they can have a seat and they can sit next to the president? President William Ruto is facing a bit of that challenge from the place. But let me tell you something. Not everything said is what it is. From my sources, very verifiable sources, that the issue of the tea in Kericho is at the stake. You know, Eric Mutai, the governor of Kericho, has been demanding a party list documents of the tea farms there, which were ridiculously leasing documents that maybe these investors were given more time. And there have been unrest, especially within the area of Kericho, that only the issue of tea plucking when machines were removed and when machines were introduced and then the human labor went down, so people became jobless, the kind of remittance they're doing to the county is less, and Ruto is on a spree, a privatization spree of privatizing stuff. So I might get it wrong, but I can tell you that part of what would be that is on William Ruto's diary is to make sure that he addresses that issue of Kericho. The leasing documents, watu watolewe, so that some new people would actually get those areas, or rather will get into that business. So to some extent, it's a give and take. both the government gets, when new people come in, maybe they increase their capitation, what they're giving the government, and what it is, because at the end of the day, the government is supposed to make money. So I am just getting a bit worried this way, and I want to tell you, we are now, budget making process is a continuous process now going on. And I think the Treasury is I've started the process of crafting the next budget. In my analysis when I'm back in Nairobi, I'll try to do a series on budget making process so that people understand, so that tujue wewe kiongozi wako anafanya nini, what exactly is going on now. People need to know what's happening now. So they've already known that budget making process is already going on, and they need to make sure that they push the president. You know, from the budget making, it will get to the budget committee in the National Assembly that is led by Ndindi Nyoro. Then preferably these projects that are now moving or that are being proposed might get to the Treasury, and through that they get their way and they pass and they get funded. The challenge here is this: even though William Ruto remains loyal to his voting base, major voting base, the Rift Valley and the Central Kenya, but isolating other areas is very detrimental. And it's detrimental not on the fact that people might feel that the president is tribal or the president is serving his tribesmen. It's detrimental to the fact that when you serve interests, some special interests, people bringing their own suggestions here and there, it's a bit disruptive and divisive. You will find out you've not addressed the plan. And so, without addressing the plan, what does that mean? You did your people. So President Ruto might just find out in the next 2 years kwamba he will turn from the mode of delivering the plan, but from now consolidating the vote. So ni kwenda pale, funguisha hiyo barabara iendelee hapa, ngurumisha pale, ungurumisha mabarabara, then when you start campaigning saying now in the second term I'm going to finish that, that and that. You do that, when you become broke, you don't do them, 2032 you start doing that again. I don't think that is what it is. While Rift MPs are in order to ask for that, maybe it's their time, but it should not be the new way of doing things. And we should also find a way that people who cannot access State House, people who cannot sit down with the president, can also get their fair share. Because at the end of the day, all of us are paying taxes. That's my take.